Hi guys, welcome in this new video, and today we go through the creation of a pressure plate only with blueprints. Okay, so let's start. Okay, now we are in the Unreal Project browser and we must select the third person template. Okay, so go in games and third person. Now we want to set up blueprint. Target platform, I choose desktop. A quality preset, I choose scalable because for today is it's more easy because it's more efficient. Okay. So and choose the project name. I choose project pressure plate. Sorry, and now click create. Okay, so now we are in the viewport and we must start. Okay, so go to content tower and we want to set up three things. One is the blueprint, our blueprint that contain our pressure plate. So we go to blueprint class and go to actor bp underscore pressure plate. And the second, the third are simply materials, okay? Because we want two materials for our pressure plate. I choose m underscore middle part and Ctrl C, Ctrl V, and I choose for the second one, choose whatever you want as a name. Okay, save all, and now we must maybe set up middle part, and I choose a red. Or of course you can choose whatever you want. I choose red because it's more visible. Okay, save this asset, of course, and now we create our incredible pressure plate. Double click on blueprint, on this blueprint class, and now we are in the viewport. In the viewport we must add another three things. The first thing to add is our middle part. So I choose static mesh. I call it middle part. Another static mesh. Okay, I drop here. Tack. Yes. And the third thing is our box collision. That in reality is our trigger. Okay. So always drop here. And now we must set up this static mesh. I choose a cube. Okay, so we have two cube. Okay, I want that the middle part, I want to scale it a little bit. So we are, for the middle part, I choose the material that we have created before, middle part. And for the other part, I choose the other material. And now we have this little pressure plate. I want also to move this trigger. I scale it perfect. So basically I move this little trigger a little down. Okay, perfect. Okay, so the viewport is done. Now we go to event graph and we want to take the events of the trigger. So go down here, go to on component begin overlap and choose on component end overlap. So basically our player overlap with this collision, with this trigger. So the collision is active. Okay, we must set up a variable. I want to call it his trigger, and this is a boolean. Okay, it's a bool. So we want to set this variable when the component begin overlap is set to true. When the overlapping end, okay, its trigger is set to false. Okay, and this parameter is important because when you want to open a door with the trees or pressure plate, of course, you can control if his trigger is true, you open the door. If it's false, you simply close the door or do nothing. Okay, and we want also an animation. So add the timeline. Here we are. We have this timeline. Add a float track with a length of 1, so a length of 1 second. And I want to set up a key on time 0 and value of 0, and the second key time 1 and value of course 1. Okay, and here we are. This is our little animation, and we want to play this timeline in a normal mode when the component begin, and when the component end overlap we want to set up the timeline in a reverse mode, okay? From the point that we arrive in the timeline to the start. This is the reverse mode. Not reverse from end, but reverse, okay? When the timeline is the timeline is update, we have a value between 0 and 1. We want to set up this value for the movement of this middle part. So basically, when the player hit the trigger, the location is not 10, but is basically 7 is a good number. When the player go outside the trigger, it must set to 10, okay? So we have this timeline, and when the timeline is update, we want to set up our relative location, okay, of this middle part. So we want to set up we must split this. I want to set up the new location zeta, okay, because the middle part is go up and down. So we take this value from 0 to 1, between 0 and 1, and multiply it for I choose 3, but of course you can choose whatever you want. I choose the difference between the default position, that is 10, and the position that I want, that is 7, okay? This value we must subtract from the default value, okay? So basically, we take our middle part, and this middle part I want to take the relative location, okay, perfect. And this relative location I want to set as a constant. So in the event begin play, I want to set a variable that I call it location default is a float, okay? So location default is set location default, and I want to set it when the event begin play. So place it here and split the relative location into x, epsilon, and zeta, and take the zeta, okay? So now we have a constant. So now take this default value, set get location default, okay, and subtract to location default 3, okay? And this value go to location zeta. For the x and the epsilon, I think that in this case is 0 and 0. You don't have to change anything, but of course you when you must change something, I think that it's maybe more easy to take the relative location of the middle part and set as a constant. So now press compile, press save. I move it here, and now when we place it in the world, maybe we can scale it a little bit in the world, okay? Okay, so here it is. We have this little pressure plate that works, and that you can add in your game for the moving of a door or the movement of anything in reality, because you can control the variable that we have created. You can add this little pressure plate, and yes, it's done. Okay guys, we have done so much in this tutorial. I think that for today is everything. Bye bye guys.